So we're going to create this dome spaceport. I have no idea what's on the screen at the moment because I'm talking before I start, but I have a feeling I want something standing up and then a bit of a dome to go over the top with various ports. Now, the story behind this is going to be kind of like an evil layer, but not really. This is just kind of like where one of the mega corporations is going to be for this animated web series. Now, I'm going to try and use no Blender add-ons as far as I know, so we're raw dogging it. Okay, so this is the size, this is the scale. So this ship here that we've been working on live stream for a while, this is the scale that we're going for. So the idea will be, we're going to extrude this puppy up. I think that's probably good enough, like so. I envision some lights coming through here and probably some columns that come off. Let's actually increase the size there. On top, we're going to create a dome. So let's go Shift S, cursor to selected, or world origin is there. I'm going to start off with adding a UV sphere, tab in edit mode, and I'm just going to move that up with G. And because we're going to go for a dome, we're going to scale it up, but then bring it down like so. So I think something like that. Now, it's probably a little bit too jagged. If we look from here, I kind of want to give it a little bit more geometry. So actually I'm going to delete that, Shift A, Mesh, UV Sphere. And rings, we're going to go 32, and then we're going to go 60. So now when we bring it up, we've got that extra geometry. Let's scale on the Z-axis, and we're going to go something like this, I reckon. Awesome. From here, Alt left click, let's grab that edge, maybe a little bit higher. I'm going to press V to rip, Control L, delete vertices. So now we've got this. I reckon we could go a little bit more and we'll take it up. Let's go ahead, E to extrude, bring it down and press Z so it brings it there. So it kind of matches in, joins up with the bottom section. And then all through here is kind of what I'm expecting is those hangers. Let's grab some of these pieces. So actually we'll come to the top here and we'll grab some big sections like this. And we'll grab that. Let's do a Shift D to duplicate that. I'm just going to move it up a little bit by pressing G and Z. And I want to separate these two objects because I just want to play with this one for now. So let's press P to separate by selection. From here, I'm going to scale along the Z, and I want to scale it not as a whole piece, but kind of maybe from the center. So up the top here, we're going to go into 3D cursor. That's going to be our pivot point. So now when I scale, you can see that we're scaling it from where that 3D cursor is. Let's deselect that, and I'm going to scale, but rather than pressing scale, I'm going to press Shift Z, so it only scales along the X and the Y. So scale, Shift Z. There you go, got something like that. So now when we bring it back down, we're going to have this kind of like blended situation. I like it. Not too shabby. Just going to change that pivot point back to here for now. Now I want to give this bit a little bit of thickness, so it kind of like blends in with the main mesh. So let's go into modifiers, add modifier, generate solidify modifier. And then we're just going to increase that thickness, and it's just going to go in like so. You could see how it's got a bit of a weird curve in there. Let's just go even thickness, and then that cleans that out like so. I like that. I do think though we might just move it out a smidgen. There we go, just do that manually. Oof. What we can do from here is I want to make kind of like a copy of this, but not duplicate it so that I can just copy and paste it around, but it's so it's still the same piece. So if I edit this piece, it edits the other piece. I'm going to press Alt D to duplicate, rotate Z 180, and then select both of these, Alt D, rotate Z 180, rotate Z 90. There we go. So now if I were to select this piece and I go GZ, you can see how it's affecting both of them. So there's the difference between duplicate and there we go, duplicate linked. So now that we've duplicated, yep, perfect. So the next thing is let's kind of have some ports here. So how many faces do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that means technically we can grab 3 faces. So we could even go 4. Let's go 4. bigger like landing ports. So if I do a Shift D, P, separate by selection, and then I'm just going to press hide. So now I'm just going to focus on this piece. Let's grab this. I'm going to press I to do an inset, and then let's go E to extrude. I'm going to scale it though on, I am not. So maybe we might just grab these and we'll just scale, Shift Z, and just bring it in. Now the reason for that is when we start copying these across, it's so the back of the hangers don't interact with each other. Probably the best way to copy this around would be with an array. So I kind of want to bring them all across. Problem is the gaps. I don't want the gaps. So I'm just going to do this manually. So Alt D, let's rotate Z. And where are we going? 22.5. Alt D, rotate. Alt D, rotate Z 22.5 to the minus. And then we can grab this. Alt D, rotate Z 90. Let's grab the rest of them. Alt D, rotate Z 108. There we go. So we've got all our hangers, and you can see here even at the back they're still clipping, which is fine. Let's fix that up straight off the bat. So we're going to go scale Shift Z, bring that one in, scale Shift Z, bring those in there. Awesome. Let's go ahead, we'll bring these down a smidgen, and then we need to do something to kind of like separate these shapes. Let's do what's going to make this look cool? Let's bring everything back. Let's just do an Alt H, and then we will select this, delete faces, but we could probably scale that, E to extrude, move it down, scale like so. Awesome. Actually, that works out really well. So now I've got this nice little lip, separate bays, but you can't really tell they're bays. That's part of a problem. So maybe what we need to do is let's select these inner faces, scale Shift Z, bring them in a bit. Let's line them up a little bit more with that front like so. And just for aesthetic reasons, we'll just line them up as well. I think that's looking good. Just bringing up these pieces here. I'll bring that back down. I think that is looking good. We're almost looking like Bespin from Star Wars. And then that gives us plenty of space to kind of like land stuff on. All right, I think we're cooking with gas. Now I know that the shot is going to be something far away, so we're not going to have to go into the full details of everything, but we still want some things to pop out. Obviously one of the big things is like pipes. So I reckon we jump on that first up. Are we happy with this shape? Let's maybe work on that. So let's go here. And we'll make sure these two circles line up so that we've got a bit of a lip that goes through there. There's not much of a landing pad, so maybe we do need to extend it out. I think lighting is going to be a big part of what's coming out of here. And maybe what we might do is I'm going to put an edge loop through here, and I'm going to extrude both of them. Now that is not extruding how I would like, but stuff it, we'll do it anyway. Grab them, scale, and then that'll kind of join up to that. Scale Shift Z, and because we're going for that far distance, it's okay. We're just trying to break up some of these lines. Now we are going for the brutalism as we initially said. Now I could probably do random flow to cut up some of this, but since we're trying to avoid using add-ons at the moment, we will do this manually. So I'm going to start doing some cutaroonies. Actually, we'll do that. Let's press V to rip. I'm going to select here, here, probably here. Let's do a rip, and I'm just going to pick two more spots. V to rip. I can't really see where I've ripped so far, so I'm going to go into an add modifier. Let's do a solidify modifier, and I'm just going to increase the size, make it 0, and then we can see our splits. But to bring it out even further, I'm going to do a bevel, and there we go. So now we can see what we've cut up. When I'm in edit mode, I can't actually see the vertices. If we come over into solidify and I click on the edit mode option, when we're in edit mode, the solidify modifier won't be enabled, which is good. So I want that, and down here, let's do a rip on that. Nice. So that's worked out well. I think we need to start splicing up here as well. So I'm going to select probably something like that. V to rip. Nice. And then we might do 1 or 2 more just there. That actually looks pretty schmick. Maybe here as well. And we'll add in a solidify modifier. Let's go 0.25. And we'll make it 0. Make sure it's above the bevel. Awesome. Let's go ahead and select a few of these. Control L. I don't believe in you. Just trying to find a nice combination. Good enough. I'm going to press P, separate by selection. So now we've got 2 variants. Let's go 0.4, 0.6. And now we have that. And I think that looks gorgeous. Kind of looking at this, I don't think it's got the presence that I want. I do want it bigger. So what we might do is come in something like that. Let's do 2 edge loops through here. E to extrude. Let's do an Alt S. Scale Shift Z. And then we have these 2 loops. These can be kind of like our windows or our office works through there. And I'm thinking we grab everything. And I'm just going to go GZ5, 50. Nah, it's too much. 20. I think that's better. And we do something along those lines. So it's much larger than we expect. And then we need probably some supports. Just this is a big get stuffed building. So let's go something like this. Let's go GY. I reckon I'll put an edge loop through here. And then we'll do something like that. Still trying to keep the shapes very simple to have that kind of like concrete brutalism style. Let's go maybe something like that. Grab these. I'm going to put an edge loop through here. And just to make it a little bit more, not promising, more standout-ish, I guess. Awesome. And what we do here, let's do an Alt-D, rotate 45. Alt-D, rotate 90. Alt-D, Alt-D, rotate 180. Lovely. I reckon actually that's pretty cool. So looking at it, something like this, because the idea is the short animation is the ship comes from the side and kind of like flies in towards it. So I'm not going for anything extravagant. I reckon while we're here though, I'm just going to get rid of the ship. Let's just hide that for a sec. Let's go ahead and texture this. So with this selected, into the materials, building base, let's go tab into edit mode. Sweet, U, cubic projection. And what are we looking at? How about we copy materials to selected, Control A, apply the scale. Right, you suck. And I can't do it on these legs. So we'll go into UV editing. Let's bring them down. And so this is a bit of a concrete texture that I created. So that's available on Patreon if you want. Oops, just trying to line it up so it kind of works together. Do the same for this. Bring it all down. Now, as we can see how the roof looks, it's very tiled. It's not exactly what we want. So I'm going to select one piece. From here, actually, we'll select both pieces. Let's try this. U, cylinder projection. U, cylinder projection. U, cylinder projection. Semi worked. Whoops. Do not like that in the slightest. Let's maybe do something like that. Okay, it's not too bad. I think this bit, this face here is a problem. So let's go I to do an inset, scale 0. So that now when we select this, let's come into sideways, U, cylinder projection. It's going to be a flat line. That's no good for us. So we're going to select all this. Oh, actually, merge by distance. Yep, so it's now merged that center circle. Let's grab that and that. We will go U project from view. Problem is what I'm going to try and do is not going to work. Yeah. So the face, so what I was trying to do there, let's do I to do an inset. We'll bring that in. Let's go GG, move that in now. And then I'm just going to delete that inner face. We can now select this. I'm going to go scale Y 0. Scale Y 0. So that we've kind of got this cube. Scale X 0 and scale X 0. Let's select this edge here. This edge here. I'm going to press V to rip so that we've kind of got a seam. So now when I select this face, I can go U, follow active quad. Didn't do it. Maybe we need to split it here. Control E, mark seam. Let's try now. U, follow active quad. Ah, idiot. Follow active quad. There we go. So now we've got that, and then that's now going to match. Yes, perfect. If we do go into rendered view, I like it very much. A little bit too shiny, so we could probably just change the material there a little bit. There we go. That's looking great. Right click, shade smooth, shade smooth, shade smooth. Lovely. And that is pretty much what I'm after. Now what I was thinking is that we dump a light in here. You have to remember the scale here is quite large, so we'll probably just leave it as is. Shift S, cursor to world origin, so that now when we do a Shift D, rotate 45, Shift D, rotate 90, Shift D, rotate 180. Am I actually doing anything? No. I just duplicated a whole bunch of lights for no reason. And that was because I had my pivot point just as the medium rather than the 3D cursor. So let's do that. Try that again. Shift D, rotate 45. Shift D, rotate Z 45 to the minus. Z 45 to the minus. Shift D, Z. That's probably okay in there. And I reckon that is pretty good. Now, I probably need some lights on top of here. Now, I'll turn this bit into a short. We're actually going to use some geometry nodes. So far off into the distance, I have 3 lights, blue, pink, orange. And so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of like slap it on at a few random points on the mesh. I reckon we start off with the orange lights. I'm just going to put a few edge loops through here. Actually, maybe we'll just do that there. Let's grab that edge loop, and we're going to create a vertex group. So we're going to call this orange light, and we're going to go assign on that edge. Let's go ahead and create a window for geometry nodes down the bottom here. Geometry nodes. What the heck is that? Since we got the smooth by angle on here, it's already created geometry nodes. No idea. So let's kind of build onto what we have at the moment. So I'm going to go Shift A, search, and we're going to do instance at points. So I'm just going to dump that one into here, dump that into there, and dump that into there, and we'll come back to it. Now it's disappeared at the moment. So what we're going to do is add in a join geometry, and that will go into there, and now we can see that geometry. If I dump that into here, will it fix it? Sure. What the heck is that? I don't know. We'll look into that. What I want to do is make those orange lights. I'm going to grab my orange lights. I'm going to put that into there. Geometry goes into instance. And so now it's going to attach our orange light to each one of those points. Yeah, much better. However, we want it to only be on that edge that we already selected. So let's go search, and we're going to go into attribute, and we're going to go select a named attribute. Attribute's going to go into selection, I believe. And the name is going to be, did I do the right one? You idiot. Oh, there we go. Yep. Just had the wrong one selected, orange light. And so now that'll create a ring of lights on that edge that we had selected and create a vertex group. To get rid of all those issues is I just got the auto smooth and we plugged it into the join geometry. We don't need it from here because that's where it kind of got funky and we had double ups. That's freaking cool. At this point here, I reckon I might be a little bit lazy. Let's add in a few edge loops through here. We do have these faces up here, so we'll come back to them in a sec. Let's do that. E to extrude, scale, Shift Z, and we'll bring it in because I want this to be kind of like lights, like a mesh in here, like windows, like corporate windows. So from here, let's add in a cylinder and we'll scale that out. Just so it's clipping and so we can actually see that it's there. Let's go scale, perfect, GZ. We will scale that puppy in just so it's grabbing everything. E to extrude, I kind of want it to be there as well. We want these two sections. E to extrude, let's go scale and E to extrude, scale. So now we've got kind of like this cylinder sitting here. This is where we want our lights. I'm going to change this. We'll go into our shader editor. And I've already got a material called building lights. Nope, text build lights. And it's just the one image, which is this one. So just some blue lights. Now, obviously, we're going to go into UV unwrapping. And we can see that it's semi-UV unwrapped. That's, you know what? That's actually not bad. But we can do better. Let's go U, cylinder projection, scale Y. It's a little bit too big. And let's kind of extend it sideways. I think we need to actually bring it down in size. And I'm just kind of like playing with the scale now. I think that is good enough. Because once again, as we've spoken about it, we're looking at this angle here. Pretty far away. And it would be 1920 by 1080. Probably reposition the camera. And so now if we take what we've got here and we re-add everything that we wanted, let's get rid of that. Bring our camera back into view. Rotate YY. Rotate ZZ. XX. Oh my goodness. Let's do something like this. And then we'll go into rendered view. We are using cycles. I think we'll go back into perspective mode. And we do a little bit more of a shallower view. Control numpad 0. Let's do an F12. I think the building lights are way too strong, so we'll turn them down. And then we'll re-render it out. And I'm okay with this. We got nice God rays coming through. Up here at the top left, it's kind of like off the map. But, oh well. Maybe we turn down these 3 pink light sources, or the 2 pinks and the blue. Turn that one down, and yeah, I'm fairly happy with that. I think it needs more pipes. Yeah, that looks sick.